Tommy Fury and Jake Paul have been firing shots at each other ahead of a possible fight, and the Brit had some harsh words for the YouTuber. Tommy Fury, an undefeated light heavyweight boxer, has stated that if the two meet in the ring again, he will knock Jake Paul out in the first round. Last week, former Love Island competitor Fury won his U.S. debut against Anthony Taylor on the undercard of Paul's main event fight with Tyron Woodley. In that fight, the YouTuber turned boxer won, extending his unbeaten streak, and had a verbal spat with Fury in the aftermath. Tyron Woodley is a world-class athlete and one of the best in the world. In his weight class, he is the best. He's been competent for years and has also been seen on TUF, as well as working as an ESPN analyst, but there was one thing he never followed through on. Paul gladly agreed to fight Woodley again, provided that the loser of their bout would get the winner's name inked on them, as stipulated by a pre-fight bet. Woodley initially agreed to the bet, but later balked at acquiring the tattoo unless Paul accepted a rematch after believing he was robbed of a victory in their boxing bout. Woodley next stated that he wouldn't get the tattoo until paperwork was signed and the second fight with Paul was official. Paul's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, confirmed that the former UFC welterweight champion was no longer a priority for Paul as a matchup. Instead, Jake is prioritizing a fight with undefeated Brit Tommy Fury, who has been calling out Paul on social media since his win over Spike O'Sullivan at UK show We Love MMA. I'm like, where's the tattoo? Paul said on the Full Send podcast. Now he's saying you have to sign the contract before I can get the tattoo. The tattoo was a bet before this fight. It was the loser who had to get a tattoo, so now he's trying to change it. There's been a lot of talk about a potential fight between the two, and if it does happen, Fury feels he'll win easily. It'd be over inside a round. From what I've seen against Tyron Woodley the other night, he's scared to throw a punch when he's in with somebody who could even knock him out, Fury told TMZ. He don't want to commit. He took one shot and nearly fell through the ropes. From what I seen the other day, I have my hands up, walk straight to him, and get him out of there inside 3 minutes. My message to Jake Paul is that he's a massive pussy and he doesn't want to fight. He's not a fighting man. So when he grows a pair of balls, come and see me. But until then, don't mention my name ever again. However, the chances of a match appear to be slim as Paul announced a decision to retire in the days after his victory against Woodley. After the fight, Paul simply posted on social media, updated status, retired boxer. Fury predicted that Paul would withdraw from a hypothetical fight, and the American stance suggests that will be the case. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. When could it happen? The bout's official date will not be known until the fight is announced, but fans may expect to see the two fight in 2022. Paul has had 2 bouts every year since going professional, one in the winter or spring and the other in the summer and autumn. Fury, 22 on the other hand, has had less than 4 months between each of his last 5 professional fights and is eager to return. He recently told TalkSport that he believes his appearance on Paul's undercard indicates that he intends to fight him next. During their social media feud, Paul, 24, even made a reference to Fury's girlfriend, Molly Mee Hague, which many claimed just served to energize TNT. And a bout seemed simple enough to book after Fury signed a 2-fight deal with US broadcaster Showtime, who inked Paul their network earlier this year. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. What has been said? I see him as a potential opponent in the future, Paul told TalkSport's James Savandra. He has to get through my sparring partner Anthony Taylor. I think he is highly underestimating Anthony's skill set. And I personally think Anthony is going to beat Tommy and upset the whole world. But I wanted to see if Tommy would step up to the plate, put his money where his mouth is. Because he says he wants to fight me. He says he wants to do bigger fights and get involved in the US market. Now is your time to shine. Let's see what you're made of. When asked if he expects to fight Paul next, Fury told TalkSport, "That's the plan. That's why I'm training so hard. That's why I'm doing everything right. God willing, I come through my test, and God willing he comes through his test. We can get it on because he's not putting me on the undercard for the good of my health, that's for sure." Fury added fuel to the fire following his victory over Taylor as he called out Paul, saying, "It wasn't my best performance, but at the end of the day, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'm learning day by day and I'm getting better. There was no danger at all. Tonight went the way it went because it's in God's hands." Looking at that, Jake Paul should have an easy night, so there are no excuses now. You've seen everybody in here. I got the biggest cheer of the night. No excuses, no running, no hiding. I want you next, you bum. Let's get it on. It should be easy enough for him. I went 4 rounds with his sparring partner. It should be no test at all. And asked who he will be fighting next, Fury indicated that he is still very interested in a meeting in the ring with the main man Paul, with whom he has shared a war of words in recent months. Fury struggled to get through MMA fighter Taylor, but believes that it is Paul whose wins over fighters from the other sport are hurting his credibility in the sport. Everybody wants to see the fight. The whole world is talking about it, so let's get it on, Fury continued. Nobody wants to see you fight more MMA guys. He's in the sport of boxing, and until he fights a legitimate boxer like myself, you won't be taken seriously as a boxer. He's fighting MMA guys at the minute. If he wants to go and be an MMA fighter, why not go and do that? UK versus USA, it's a mega fight, and for him it's a big money fight because I know he's bothered about those pound signs, he continued. There's no losses here. It's a win-win for everybody. The only thing he needs is to grow a pair of balls and come and see me. Until then, stop talking shat. My message to Jake Paul, like it always is stop talking shat. Stop using my name for some boxing clout, and let's get in the ring and let's fight. In terms of the outcome, despite struggling to injure his much smaller sparring partner Taylor, the former Love Island star feels he would easily defeat Paul. According to Tommy Fury's promoter Frank Warren, Jake Paul could face him in the United Kingdom. Warren brought Fury to the United States as part of a 2-fight deal, so the duo were expected to fight in his second contest in the country. However, Warren, who also co-promotes Fury's older brother Tyson Fury, told Sky Sports that the UK might host the event. Yes, it could happen next, and we try to get it in the UK, Warren said. Fury won his 4-round debut US fight against MMA fighter Anthony Taylor on the Jake Paul vs. Tyron Woodley undercard, but his win on points did little to suggest he would be a huge step up for 24-year-old YouTuber Paul to face. Paul, for his part, went the distance with his former UFC opponent and won a split decision. The 39-year-old Woodley was his toughest opponent yet, and Paul has suggested he may now take time away from the ring as he considers what to do next with his 4-0 unbeaten record. Paul turned 24 in January, making him nearly 2 years older than his British counterpart, who turned 22 in May. Both fighters have undefeated records of 7-0 for Fury and 4-0 for Paul. Of Fury's 7 wins, 4 have been by KO, while 3 of Paul's 4 finished inside the distance. Both fight with an orthodox stance. 6 feet 1 inch Paul is just an inch taller than Fury, but TNT has the longer reach, 80 inches to 76 inches. That's it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to never miss any amazing video from us. Thanks for watching.